To be in tough circumstances as an adult is one thing, but to be in tough circumstances with kids and no partner is a different story, and one that I want to share with you today. So as you guys can see already, I share many rock bottom stories with you all, but this one is not one of them. Please understand that this is something that has happened to me as I was growing into the new life that I wanted, and along the way, there was turbulence that I had to learn to work through. So it was scary, in all honesty, and I wanted to take my life at one point, and I will get to that story in a moment in detail. But what happened was I was living in an apartment that was not leased in my name, and it was leased by a family member who bullied me into leaving on purpose. And I'm not a victim, although I could very well claim to be so in this case, but you guys know I choose not to. What made all of this so intense is that I was already healing from an illness. I had no cash available to me to make moves. I had no place to go, and not even shelters would take us. I would know because I called them all and tried. But it came down to the wire, and I had a week to move out. And the only thing that I could take with me was what could fit in my Kia. And painfully, I threw away 300 books I collected over 8 years, and I tossed them into the apartment dumpster. I moved into a really nice condominium home 3 months later, but before that I stayed in an Airbnb for 2 months, as well as a hotel, an extended stay, and a week-long trip out of state to a family member's house to just kind of make it all work. Now, while at that Airbnb, I forced myself to use my executive powers within to believe and know that my kids and I would be moving into a home soon. And I didn't know when or where, but I had fearless faith. Do you see this mop bucket right here? I bought that exact same mop bucket by faith. I was preparing for the new home I wanted, and that very inexpensive mop bucket was a daily reminder to me that I would be moving soon. Like a child wishing on a star, I had to have the same audacity to ask for something I didn't know how to get. I enjoyed my new home for a year. It was awesome before moving into another dream property in the town of Orlando I never lived in, but also always aspired to, called Windermere. And life just keeps getting better and better for my kids and I. But I have seen too many moms stuck in home situations they'd rather not be in, limited to no funds to move, doubting whether they can ever move on up, and worst off is these moms that give up. And they keep telling themselves that they'll make it work in a home life they know never will. Often I hear this from abused and women in toxic relationships, and I understand. But do not despair. As a CEO SAHM, you tap into that executive power within by becoming aware that you can, that it is possible, and aligning your mind and emotions to higher vibrations like faith, certainty, fearlessness, audacity, and persistence. As for the money, you may not have more than enough to make those moves. But for the moms that feel like they don't just have enough funds, I promise they are there. Not because I said so, but because money is an abundance, and abundance is who you really are at your natural state. And by focusing on wealth consciousness and knowing that a way will be made to the degree that you're willing to focus, a way must be made. Again, transitions with children are particularly heartbreaking because you're taking innocent little ones with you into uncertainty. As the leader in your family and home, and as a CEO SAHM, you got this. And CEO SAHM TV is dedicated to helping you along your journey. Yeah, I remember coming here, and my kids were at school about 2 miles away, and I was just numb, and I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I had no money in my bank account, and I sat in this back seat, and I called a suicide hotline. And I called that suicide hotline, and they were of no help, to be quite honest. But the point was, I cried to the lady, and I told her. She asked me what's wrong, and I said, I just can't take it anymore. I just kept repeating, I can't take it anymore, I can't take it anymore. I was just, I guess, battling that within me. I just hated the reality that I was in. And it was tough. Now, I had no intentions of taking my life, but
Again, that's a representation of the dark state I was in. I didn't know where else to turn. I didn't have anybody else. And, you know, that moment was for me and myself. And I handled it, needless to say, but it was tough. I remember vividly that pain of even making that phone call. Knowing my kids were at school just a few miles away. Not knowing what my next move was going to be, just knowing I needed to make it to my next move.